Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to RLCS Overtime. I'm your host, Wave Punk, and we've got a James Bott and a Finable Carpet here. Guys, how are you feeling today?
Incredible.
Incredible.
Astoundingly amazing.
How do you feel about that carpet?
Better than him.
I feel better than you feeling better than me.
Feel better than you.
So much good feelings right now. I love it so much. We've got a great show in store for you guys today. We're going to have some fun. We're going to make some predictions. We're going to talk about the World Championship. We're going to have a 1v1 with Jake from OCE. It'll be a lot of fun. But first, we want to talk about the OCE finals that just happened. And as always, anytime we talk about OCE, we're going to talk to Yummy Cheese Man. Yummy's on the line. How you doing, friend?
I'm excellent. I'm even better than Carpet's going.
What?
So.
That's so much.
I'm better than him.
So he was. How you were doing great,
I was
right?
better than Carpet. So if we need to figure out how much better Yummy Cheeseman's feeling than Carpet to determine.
I think on the hierarchy.
1v1.
Oh, he wants a 1v1. That's what he
He's
wants.
doing better.
All right, that's fine.
He's feeling better today
we'll
during overtime. Yes, I like this idea. Let's talk, Yummy. You guys just had your finals for Throwdown. It was quite a crazy series. So many series going the full length. We had Game 5 overtime goals to decide who made things places. It was incredible. How did you feel about it, man?
It was probably the best set of finals I've ever seen. Crazy matches. We had the Game 5 overtime, into a Game 7 overtime, into another Game 7, straight in a row, and they were RLCS qualifying matches. Absolutely ridiculous, and it sort of the level of play made me very sad that not all teams could even make it through to the RLCS.
Yeah, they weren't able to make it all the way. That was how I felt watching. I was like, man, I'm really sad for both the teams that don't make it because they all looked so good. But this was our box score from our final match of the day. This was Alpha Sydney qualifying, taking the #1 seed in the OCE region. But both Alpha Sydney and Jam Gaming making it into RLCS LAN.
Yeah, and Jake really stepped up in these series too. We saw Drippe kind of fall off, the MVP of OCE, after a couple of games earlier in the day where he missed a lot of backboards. You saw he lost a lot of confidence, but it was great because it allowed Jake to really step up and take that carry role that you don't normally see him in.
Are these the two teams that you would have expected prior to the day beginning? Are these the two teams that you would have expected to be in the final?
Yeah, you could see Alpha Sydney and Jam, especially as Jam coming in at the beginning of the day, did seem to start trying new things. And that's always a good sign that they're playing different. They're trying to do something better. They've been putting in the work. But I would have also been happy, or likely seen Sandcastle there in the grand final too. It's so close in the end as well.
No, I remember watching and thinking, man, I think it was Jam versus Sandcastle. We're in a qualifier. The loser would drop out of the tournament in the lower bracket, and I was like, man, I so want both these teams to make it. They both look so good.
And then even in the series before that, I think it was Alpha Sydney versus Sandcastle, and it was all the way into the final game in overtime. The next goal will get you to Los Angeles for the RLCS World Championship. I was at the edge of my seat. That was an incredible series to watch. But Sandcastle, that was the big surprise for me, is how well they played. Because when I've been watching, all I hear about is Jam and Alpha Sydney. Sandcastle, though, they came so close.
I honestly thought they were, like, after watching all four teams play in those first two games, I thought Sandcastle was easily going to be in the top. And I guess, Yummy, to direct this more towards you, going throughout the series, I'm sure things maybe changed from game to game how people were performing. Is there any particular team that you're like, after this first round, I think they're going to do it, and then something changed? Or did it kind of just go according to plan throughout the day?
I think right at the start, as I said, Drippe was playing immense. He got 7 goals in that first series, up against one more, and then that switched up. On the other side, Bango from Jam Gaming at the very start of the day. He started soft, slow, in the defense too much, and he rotated in a lot more. It's a brand new Bango than we've ever seen, and by the time that they warmed into it, even though it's a brand new style, they were able to adapt, and that's why they got through to the grand final.
Yeah, it was incredible to watch y'all's finals. Great games all the way around. Now we want to look forward at the World Championship. Alpha Sydney and Jam Gaming have qualified for Los Angeles here, and we will see them compete against NA and EU. And here are their first matchups. We'll have Alpha Sydney going against Denial, and we'll have Northern Gaming facing off against Jam Gaming. I want to start with Alpha Sydney here. Give me your thoughts of them facing off against Denial, Yummy.
I just love seeing that both of the teams are there in the first place. But Alpha Sydney up against Denial. I think that is a very winnable match here for Alpha Sydney. They're confident going in, and I think that they'll actually be upset if they don't win that match. That's how confident they are in themselves and in the abilities of Denial, who we have seen in the past, but only Sad Jr. on that team has experience, and Alpha Sydney have a lot of experience on LAN, and in particular, on LAN they're starting to get to the point after their 4th LAN that they're actually looking quite formidable and almost close to where they're getting to online, which has been unprecedented so far in the OCE scene. So, up against Denial eSports, I think I'm confident that they can make it at least a close match.
And Alpha Sydney is a team that has, like you said, played many, many LANs, but no LAN has been nearly as big as this one. Do you think that the scope of the stage they're on is going to affect their play?
Oh, of course. Being in front of millions is so much different to being in front of 50,000. So it is a much bigger experience, but Alpha Sydney, they're not the kind of team to really worry too much about the number of people out there. They're more concerned about whether they're playing badly or not. So if they play a little badly, then they'll start getting upset with themselves.
Yeah, for sure. So, looking at Alpha Sydney will be going up against Denial. You feel like that will be something that they'll be upset if they're not able to get the win there. But on the other side, a team with so much more story behind them, a team that is a dynasty here in Rocket League. Northern Gaming is who Jam Gaming has to compete against. Talk to me about this matchup. How is Jam feeling right now?
Well, Jam at least have the small advantage that it's going to be Turbo Pulsar there at LAN instead of Maestro, which is a big change-up. And any kind of change-up could make a difference. We don't know how much they've been practicing with Turbo Pulsar, but Jam Gaming, this is their shot. They've been practicing really hard. They've been coached by Overzero, Season 1 World Champion of late, and they're still improving. And I really like to see the change in play style that they've made, because coming in, you know, just 2 weeks ago I said, ooh, Jam, I think at the World Championship their style is not going to play well because they rely too many times on their opponent's mistakes. But now they're starting to tighten up their game. They're getting some really sick ground passing going, and they look like they could do something. And I really am interested to see how that series goes, because even if they lose that, how well they go there determines how far they'll go in the lower bracket.
So do you think that Jam Gaming is the second best team to represent OCE, because they went down very early in the tournament and it did not look good for them. They really didn't have, it seemed like, any convincing victories. Do you think that Jam Gaming is the second best team here for OCE?
I think it just depends on the day, right? On that day, Sandcastle played 14 games in a row, and that probably went to Jam's favor. But in the end, Jam did prove that they could play under pressure, and they made the lower bracket run. So they proved that at least they're equal second. And it's really interesting because currently the power rankings in OCE also has 3 teams tied at second.
Wow, yeah, and just a bit of a rebut. I felt like Jam Gaming was on point in many ways during the finals. There were some pass plays they were pulling off where I felt like, you know, I was watching it with you, Carpet. I was like, these are some of the plays that I feel like if they bring this to LAN, the NA and EU is going to have to look out. They are looking just as strong, and as we've pointed out a few times, some of the NA and EU teams here towards the end of the season have been struggling a bit. So my final question to you, Yummy, we know who the teams are here going to LAN. How are they faring? How far are they getting? Give me your predictions for OCE in the World Championship.
I'm going to give Alpha Sydney number 5. They're going to beat Denial, and they're going to take it really close to Mocket. They may even beat Mocket. If they beat Mocket, they can make 3rd. But if they don't, which is probably pretty likely, I think they'll go lower bracket, and they'll win one more game before being knocked out by either Flipside Tactics or NRG in the lower bracket, because we do know that those two are versing each other.
Yeah, they like to. Yeah. They like to be in the lower bracket.
For sure. Well, good to hear that he's going to put aside the trash talk for just a second. Like, give us a real answer there. Yummy, thanks so much for talking to us. I cannot wait to see you at the World Championship, and we will see you guys there. Good luck with everything. Good luck on your flights.
Bye, everyone.
See you later, bud.
Bye, Yummy.
See you soon.
See you soon. It is coming up so quickly. Guys, it's going to be a great show. We're going to talk to Jake next here from Alpha Sydney, get his perspective on how their finals went and everything. It'll be great. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Overtime, ladies and gentlemen. We just got done talking to Yummy Cheese Man about the OCE Championships and how that went down there. And one of the big players here, Alpha Sydney, came out and won. Jake was on their starting roster, one of their top players, and we've got him on the line here. Jake, man, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for taking the time to talk to us. Always good to talk to you guys. First question, always the first question here whenever we do the 1v1. Jake, tell me how you got into Rocket League.
I was watching Day 9 stream it, and, you know, it was the usual, just like everyone flopping around the field. And I was like, seems like a fun game. So, you know, just got it, convinced a ton of friends to get it, and yeah, started there.
Yeah, that's cool. I know that my first experience with Rocket League was seeing files of it on Reddit, seeing a little, like on the gaming file, they'd have little GIFs or GIFs of it, and like just seeing someone make some nutty save and goal, and I was like, that looks like a weird game. And then some friends recommended it to me, and here I am. It's cool how like the influencers influence us that way. So tell me your emotions. OCE, this is the first season that we've had OCE in RLCS. How did it feel for you as a competitor, as one of the top players in OCE, to know that you were going to have a chance to represent OCE in RLCS this season?
Oh yeah, it was awesome. Just like hearing we had the opportunity, just our team was like, we like need to practice, we like need to make it, because it's just huge, right? Like, you know, it was just really awesome to hear. Very
cool. So talk to me about Alpha Sydney, okay? This team, #1 team right now in OCE. How did you guys form? How did you guys come together? Tell me the story of Alpha Sydney.
So I met Torsus on the ones ladder, and he crushed me for like 7 games in a row. So then I was like, oh, gotta get him on a team. And then Drip was also like pretty active in ones, so we were like, oh, I gotta get him on a team. So then, you know, we like just formed like that, and we just like, you know, really enjoyed each other, good friends, and then yeah, started there.
That's cool. So you guys met on the competitive ladder, and then just continued to play ranked together until Throwdown came up?
Yeah, pretty much. We just like started scrimming. We like would be able to take games off like good teams, and we were like, oh, this could really work. And yeah, Throwdown was a bit off though. We played a few tournaments beforehand, but yeah.
Okay, so you guys have been one of the most dominant teams in the OCE region for a while now. What is it that makes Alpha Sydney so strong? What is the best characteristic of Alpha Sydney?
We have a really good work ethic for OCE. We try to scrim like as much as we possibly can. Yeah, I don't know. Probably it.
Okay.
Good at the game, that helps.
Yeah, the work ethic. I remember hearing Yummy Cheese Man talk about on a previous episode of Overtime where he felt that while some of the OCE lacked some mechanical skill maybe, but they made up for it in rotations and team synergy. How much do you agree with that and feel like that? Is that a big part of what makes Alpha Sydney so strong here, just your team synergy? I feel like that's what you're saying.
EU definitely have better mechanics than OCE, that's for sure. And NA, like, I would agree, like, OCE, we all seem to have, like, a lot better comms than North America and EU, and at Alpha Sydney, we put a lot of focus on having good rotations, good communication, clean gameplay, so that is, like, a strength we tried to play for, so, yeah, I don't know. Personally, yeah, my mechanics probably aren't as great. Drip and Torso, they'd definitely be equal to...
No, they're fantastic, but I mean, hey, you're a big part of the roster. You're the #1 team here, and you guys getting to go to RLCS. I hear this is your first time coming to the U.S., correct?
Yeah, for me. I think Drip's been.
That's really crazy that you're going to get to make this trip, and you're going to get to do it to play a video game in front of a huge audience, in front of thousands of people online and in person. Talk to me about the feelings of knowing that you're going to get to go and compete and represent OCE in the RLCS finals.
Yeah, it's going to be really cool. We have a lot of LANs here in Australia, so playing on a live stage won't be too different to what we're used to. It'll definitely be a much larger scale, especially like live viewers with the what it was like with Season 2. I don't know, I'm just keen, see what happens.
Yeah, no, it sounds like it would be so much fun. I can't wait to meet you. It's going to be a lot of fun. The big question, I think that everybody's in everybody's mind right now, and I got to get your thoughts on it. OCE versus NA and EU. How are you guys going to fare? How do you think it's going to go?
Well, I hope we do well. It's just so hard to tell, right? Like, I definitely think Twitch chat undervalue OCE quite a bit, but at the same time, like, if we come last, it's not going to be exactly a surprise. Like, anything could happen. Will be very interesting. Like, we don't even know, so, like, you know.
Yeah, I think you can make a reasonable case on either side of the situation here, and that's why I love that we're going to get to see it. You guys are going to get out here, and we're going to see how you guys compete. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait. And before I let you go, man, last thing, any shout-outs for friends or family or fans or anything you want to say? The floor is yours.
Yeah, shout out to my mom and dad. Hey, shout out to my friends, and shout out to Drip and Toss for carrying us to, North America. Should be good.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jake, and good luck at the World Championship.
Yep, thank you.
That is Jake from Alpha Sydney. They're always great to talk to the players here on Overtime. When we come back, the 50-50 is back, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if you remember it, but it was so much fun. I cannot wait to see it. We'll have fun. It'll be right here after the break.
Welcome to the 50-50. My name is Findable Carpet. Here I've got Waypunk to my right, I've got James Bot to my left. And this is my all-time favorite segment because no matter how this goes, one of these guys is going to be a loser by the end of it. So here's how the segment's going to go. I'm going to ask these fellas a series of questions. They're going to answer it to the best of their ability, and I'm going to determine who I think performed the best, answered the questions at the most, or maybe I just want one of them to lose because I honestly don't care.
Just like last time.
Yeah.
Like rigged.
It's not good.
Rigged.
It's not rigged. He can complain all he wants. James Bot just thinks that he deserves everything.
It's going to be rigged again because you're losing this time too, bud. It's going down. It's going down.
I'd agree, but I don't want to sound biased right off the bat. So the first person to answer our questions is going to be James Bot. James Bot, how are you doing?
I'm glad you asked.
That's nice. All right, first question. What is going to be the most exciting first matchup at LAN? James, you can talk now.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Carpet, for the floor. The best matchup, best opening one. Can't argue it. It's Denial and Alpha Sydney. This is the first time that we'll ever see an OCE team play a team from another region in a LAN environment. The mettle of OCE is going to be tested. Yomi Cheeseman said Denial was going to be an easy win. So we'll see if he's right. And it's the first time we'll ever see a keyboard and mouse player appearing on the live final stage. So that is going to be the most exciting opening matchup.
You say you can't argue it, but you can, and
Nope.
I'm going to because the answer is actually Leftover versus Rogue. These are the two top free agent teams we've seen throughout the regular season. We've been building both of them up. Leftover still not picked up. Rogue, now formerly Atelier, now Rogue has been picked up. I'm excited to see these two top teams clash. It's going to be great.
I disagree with both of you, but it really doesn't matter. So, we've had the storyline of the fact that NRG has pretty much struggled and they've actually never beaten a European team at LAN. How do you think NRG is going to perform? Waypunk, we'll start with you.
Wait, who won the last one?
The last what?
The last question.
No, that's not how it works.
That's not how it works.
Winners at the end.
I want to know who won. No, fine.
No,
fine.
you
Okay.
get it at the end.
Look, NRG, you're right. They haven't ever beaten a team. They're going to have to face off against either Northern Gaming or the OCEC the first round. But I think Northern Gaming, I think NRG rather, has looked better this season than they have in any other previous season. I think this is the season for them. I think they finish top 2. I think they make it all the way to the grand finals.
Ooh, we got some heavy words from Waypunk. James Bott, rebuttal.
So you say second. I think that is a bold claim. In the first World Championship, NRG finished last place, dead last. The next LAN, they finished 1 place better in the 5th and 6th spot. I think they are going to incrementally improve yet again and finish in 4th place. The only North American team finishing in the top 4. That's what I'm calling.
No.
Yes.
Jacob looks so much better than he did
That's why
last
they're going to
season.
get 4th.
Looks so much better. That means he's going to be that much better. Top 2.
I only understood half the words that just came out of James Bott's mouth. I think you're trying a bit too hard right
Blech.
now. Anyways,
Blech.
we'll see. What
Now it's not
lower
even
seed... excuse me.
I'm sorry.
You better be. What lower seed team is going to surprise everyone at the World Series Championship, whatever this thing's called? I don't even know anymore. You guys are joshing me up. All right, James.
What was the question?
What lower seed will
Series?
surprise at the World Series Championship? At the World Championship, what lower seed do you think is going to surprise the most?
It's going to be Northern Gaming. Northern Gaming is coming in as the lowest seed in Europe, which is a surprise. They finished in 3rd both seasons World Championships in a row. Now they have Turbo Pulsa instead of Maestro. But Turbo, he was really good last season on Oh My Dog, scoring almost half of his team's goals. Now that he has time to practice with Maestro or with Remco and Devo, they are going to kill it as the 4th seed.
You done yet? You done being wrong yet?
I am done being correct.
You done being wrong yet?
Are you ready to be wrong?
He's actually picking Northern Gaming when Maestro won't even be there. The biggest strength of Northern Gaming is Maestro and Remco, and Maestro's not there. They have to put Turbo Pulsa in. He's great, but he's not going to synergize with them.
Then who?
Denial will show up. The Canadian squad's going to roll in with Sad Jr. on their back and going to surprise everybody. I'm rooting for the Canadians.
That seems pretty torn between the both of you. I still think you're both wrong. Either way, all right, so we've got a lot of rookies here at LAN, and I'm curious to know who you guys think is going to perform the best. So essentially, if we had baseball card versions of these rookies, which would cost the most money by the end of it? Which could you get the most money for? Waypunk.
Farah.
You think Farah?
Yeah, dude, Farah has been surprising me the whole season. I've still never seen a cooler dribble than Farah on flip side week 1. I want to see him do it again. This guy, just the way that he is able to light up and carry his team, he has been performing consistently the whole season. I think Farah's going to do it and continue to do it here at the LAN with Snasky and Siki in support.
That is a bold claim, yet again. You're filled with them today. But
That's
no,
the whole
it's
point.
not. It's not going to be Farah. It's going to be Matt. Matt from Rogue. He was the runner-up for the Golden Striker. He scored a massive amount of goals, was a huge part of the success for Rogue this season. He coming in as a LAN rookie, he's not an RLCS rookie, but a LAN rookie, he is going to help propel Rogue to the 1st round victory over Farah and his teammates. Mark my words, that's going to happen.
I might agree with one of you, but I probably don't either still. All right.
You're a hard man to convince, Carpet.
I am.
What does it take? What does it take to make you happy? What can I convince you?
I don't know if I want to give that secret out to the world. I don't think anybody needs to know that just yet. All right. So, as far as the boldest claims you guys can possibly give me, who's winning the World Championship and who's going to be their MVP? James Bott, please keep it short.
Flipside Tactics, Cookser. Do you want me to expand?
I'll give you 2 more sentences.
Okay, Maka is the favorite, but Flipside has proven when their back is to the wall, they get the wins. They're going to do it. Cookser's going to be leading the charge.
That's pretty bold, calling back-to-back champions here. That would be pretty crazy if it pulled off. I called NRG making top 2. I'm going to one-up it here and say they're actually going to win the whole thing. This is NRG's year, and as a tribute to Shogun, I'm going to say their MVP is Jacob. Right here.
Is that still his? Did he write? Actually, no. That's actually legible. So
you can
way.
tell that this was very handcrafted by Wavepunk.
You can read it.
Yeah.
Official work of art.
Which means it's definitely not Shogun. All right, so that's the end of my questions, which means one of these fools just took the prize, or at least one of them is a less loser than the other. And honestly, I just can't give anything to James Bott. Waypunk, you're going to get this one.
I'm the winner again.
I disagreed with almost everything you guys said. Mostly because I didn't listen to anything you said. I don't even know what most of your answers were. Although I think NRG is the better shot of the 2. I know as much as I'd love to pick Flipside, dude.
Is James Bott ever gonna win?
They
the
didn't look too hot, man.
I'm just gonna,
sit down.
Okay. I feel like I should just go.
What a diva.
I don't even know I did this.
Right.
It's rigged from the start.
Always will be, mostly against James. All right, so that's going to be it for the 50-50, but don't go anywhere because when we come back, we're going to give you guys a pretty long, gnarly preview of the RLCS Championship. You get to see what we really think there, so don't go anywhere.
I have my chair back, and I am the new 50-50 crown champion, so it's been a good day of overtime. How you guys doing? Especially you, James.
I'm never going to live this down.
Nice.
This is the 50-50. I don't even know why I do it anymore.
Are you okay?
I'm not.
I don't care.
I'm not. I'm scarred.
I still don't care.
Still doesn't care.
Don't care.
It's so...
I tried.
I feel nothing in here.
this?
I feel nothing in here. It's empty.
Well, after my crown, I'm having a great day. It's been a great day of overtime so far, and we've got a world championship to talk about here, guys. These teams, we have 10 teams for the first time ever. 4 from Europe, 4 from North America, and 2 from OCE. First time they're going to be here. That's the huge story we're pushing, as well as all these other teams that have made it. Some of these guys have been here before. You know, we had the title, the subtitle for the season was old rivals and new challengers, and we've got both of those here at the World Championship. It's going to be great. The first matchup, we can take a look at the bracket, actually. Take a look at the bracket, as it will stand at the beginning of the play. Got some first round matchups there with the OCE teams, Denial, eSports, and Alpha Sydney. We now have these filled in. Northern Gaming and Jam Gaming will be playing, and then we will get into that big first quarterfinals of the upper bracket.
Yeah, this one is going to be right off the bat testing whether or not OCE can stand up to these other regions. Population-wise, they are the definite underdog. I mean, they only have a population of about 40 million in their region. NA, about 580. EU, 743. So just talking about sheer number of players available for the pool to play against, OCE is an underdog.
You memorized those stats. That was good. Numbers.
I mean, he has a computer.
Numbers. I
That's
did.
true.
Internet.
I would just
Thank
guess
you,
that,
Internet.
I would guess there's somewhere there, but we'll take a look at that bracket again a little bit later. We want to talk in detail about these first matchups, the matchups that we already have lined out for us, and we'll start with Denial versus Alpha Sydney. Now, we all got to watch the OCE championships and see OCE play, see Alpha Sydney win that championship there, and they will be the #1 seed from OCE, but they will be going up against the #4 seed here from NA in Denial.
Yeah, Denial's the team that knocked out G2. They were, that was a huge upset, yeah.
That's a title to have, but at the same time, I think G2 really underperformed that day. So it's really hard to say. I know Denial performed better than they had most of the season. They're a team that really didn't do so hot, but G2 really didn't bring it to them in the way I think they could have.
Yeah, and Alpha Sydney has been just at the top for what seems like the longest time. I mean, I've been following OC a little bit for a long time. Alpha Sydney's that team that I have heard of since the beginning. Like, they have been around. And Torsus, this was, I mentioned it in 50-50, KBM player, that's this guy. He somehow on KBM manages to score at least a goal a game, which is pretty fantastic. I don't know how he does.
For the uninitiated, KBM is keyboard and mouse.
Did I? I don't even.
I think you just
I
said
did.
KBM.
I think I did.
You know, some people
I'm
don't
too
know.
elite.
You're too elite for everybody. Corrupted G has substantially less stats, especially in assists. But as you said, we were talking a little bit earlier, the OCE defense seems to be a little weaker, or maybe just they're a little more offensive altogether as a region. And it's hard to say because now when you see someone like OCE go against someone like Denial, maybe they'll just slow it down, or maybe they look like they don't have defense against some of the OCE team. It's so hard to say.
Yeah, their numbers were higher on how many goals were scored per game in their region. But again, it's hard to tell how they actually stack up because they're playing only within their region. They haven't really gotten to play NA or EU on an equal footing.
Without like 300 ping.
Yeah, without massive amounts of ping. So this really it's going to be a spectacle. I really cannot wait to watch.
I'm excited to watch it. You brought up him being a KBM, a keyboard mouse player, and for the uninitiated as well. That's such a rare thing. This is the first KBM player to make it to LAN for RLCS. So big deal there. We'll see how Torsos gets to play there against Denial. But next match, Northern Gaming versus Jam Gaming. The duel of the gaming here, Northern versus Jam. We will see how the number 4 OCE team, or the number 2 OCE team goes up against the number 4 EU team. But the big story for me is that Northern Gaming is playing with their sub Turbo Pulsa.
Yeah, Turbo Pulsa, again, subbing in for Maestro. We talked about it earlier. Maestro not able to make it out. Turbo will fit in. He played last season on Oh My Dog, and he did relatively well for them. So it's not that bad of a sub. But Jam Gaming, if you were watching the tournament this past weekend where they got second place, they had some really scary moments right there. You see being tied in many situations. They had the overtime winner against one more. And going to Game 7 against Sandcastle, it was scary. And now they're going to have to go against Northern Gaming, who finished third in both World Championships back to back.
And again, another player with substantially more assists per game than their than their other regional equivalent, I should say. Remco with only 0.53 as opposed to nearly double for Express. And you know, as much as we want to talk about who's going to play better offense and defense, mechanically, OCE are still insane. We still saw some amazing highlight reel plays happen throughout the entire championship over there in OCE. So it really comes down to if you can execute that properly and at the right times and force a team to be in a bad spot. Can they put it against Northern Gaming, especially since they have now a sub as opposed to one of their mainstays?
And one of the weird things too is they all use Dominus.
A
lot of them use Dominus, which is it's weird
like
to
the
see.
Octane of North America.
Yeah.
It'll be cool, and I think I want to get your thoughts on Turbo Pulsa specifically. This is the third season that Turbo Pulsa has been competing in. He was on Market back in season number 1, competing alongside Pashy. They dropped out pretty early in that LAN, but this is his second RLCS LAN. Competed, as you said, on Oh My Dag in season 2. A good player, but who has not been on the starting lineup here for Northern Gaming. Do you think that's a big enough deficit for the OCE team to be able to take it to Northern Gaming here?
I don't think so, because you still have Devo. You have Devo and Remco. Those guys, if they are playing well, it doesn't matter if I'm their third. They will be able to win games against almost anybody.
Man, that's a statement.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that is a statement.
I am grand champion.
That's definitely a lie. Not the grand champion part, but the fact that they still win. I think, honestly, especially when it comes to LAN play style, it really comes to, as an individual, do you not make mistakes? And LAN, that's pretty much what we've seen puts people to the later rounds, and then it comes down to making sure you really work as a team. Because at this point, the stakes are so high, everyone's playing in that mixture of like timid, aggressive, like I just don't want to let any goals in, but I also want to score. This is terrifying. There's so much money on the line. Everyone's yelling. I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And that's when the panic starts to settle in. So as long as Turbo just like doesn't make any mistakes and lets Devo and Remco do what they do best, which is just be amazing. I think they've got a pretty decent shot of still going pretty far.
And I wonder with Jam, because none of us expected Northern Gaming to be the number 4 seed from Europe, right? And that has to be terrifying. You talk about nerves in a LAN situation to know that that's the team you're facing off against. I'm sure they would have much rather had like a Penta or a Secrecy or a Resonant, some sort of team
anyone,
that, you know, like just like a team that doesn't have so much of a legacy that Northern Gaming does. And we saw Turbo Pulsa playing in the 3rd place match of EU. He plays well. He still knows how to play. There's nothing, not to take anything away from Turbo, he just hasn't been on that starting roster. So for Jam, it's got to get in their heads that we're not going against just the number 4 seed. We're going against Northern Gaming.
Yeah, and not only that though, like for Northern Gaming, if you're talking about having to use a sub, You said it. And Turbo has LAN experience, so he's done this already before. And like you said, Wave, he played pretty well in that series versus the Leftover. He wasn't the log dragging behind the team. So Northern Gaming still, even though as they're a 4th seed, they still, I would expect them to be able to take it to any team in any region.
On the other side, though, I really stand by the fact that I think OCE is going to catch everyone off guard. I think their mechanical skill is going to catch everyone off guard. And if they can just keep things relatively tight, not make huge mistakes, I think the pressure of LAN, them being new, and honestly, they're the ones that have so much to prove, and they're the ones that are most excited to be here. I know everyone from North America, not to take anything out, or everyone in North America and Europe, I'm sure they're like, oh, dude, I'm so happy we made it to LAN. But to be the first 2 teams of your region to ever show up here after so much time of playing on your own, in your region, just kind of solitary, I think they're going to bring so much more to the plate.
And Los Angeles, gonna maybe get some Korean barbecue, hang out. You know, just have a good time. Spread the jam somewhere. That's what Jam does, right? That's their thing. Spread the jam.
Spread the jam.
Spread it over LA.
I think it's a great point you bring up that even if these OCE teams don't get a win here, they still have already made history in RLCS of being the first 2 seeds to make it in from OCE. So I'm excited to see these guys play against each other. Moving on, Rogue versus Leftovers, which is clearly and decidedly the most exciting match of the first round, James.
That's my opinion.
That's my
which
opinion.
Is correct.
Sure.
Is not. Wait, no, it's not correct. I picked the other one.
I'm telling you, he agrees with me now.
I don't.
I'm telling you guys.
Now remember, Rogue used to be Atelier. Now we don't have to bicker and argue as to how to pronounce this name.
Thank goodness.
It's just Rogue now. I mean, I've stood by this team tried and true since the beginning. I absolutely love the way this team plays. I love the Matt and Sizz combo. I love Turtle being their third. I think one of the more self-aware players on the pitch, really has a good grasp of where to be. Very selfless player. He loves to give it up to his team. He loves to pass it. He doesn't try and take the limelight, which inherently kind of gives him the limelight from time to time. And then, you know, as James said, Matt, he's the boy.
Oh yeah, runner-up. You see there, 0.90 goals per game. Fireburner took the Golden Striker Award with 0.92 goals per game. So Matt was right there. And just in terms of the team's weight that was being carried, Matt did a stellar job of that all season long throughout league play. And then Farah, which was the player, and these are both the rookies that we had talked about.
This is really funny because I'm looking at this and I'm realizing that Matt actually is ahead in every single stat on this page right here.
Well, it feels good to be right for once. I mean, it still won't matter on 50-50. I'll still always lose apparently. But
it's
Matt,
okay, man. It's okay.
But Matt, I think he's going to step up. He's this rookie for LAN experience, but he's been on the RLCS stage before, and he's a stunner. He's going to do well.
Now, just to kind of talk about the other team, so the Leftovers. One of the best storylines to ever follow since we began here at the RLCS. The fact that even their own team name undermined themselves.
Yeah.
They understood coming in, we'll do okay. I think even in an interview,
they wanted to be
was
Penta and Kaunos.
I think it would be Penta and Kaunos, and then they just destroy everyone all the way. And they end up losing to a team that I think caught everyone off guard. So it's one of those situations of they, I think, coming in, have a little more weight on them than they expected. They didn't even expect to make it to LAN, let alone to come in at a relatively high seed. And they're like,
I wasn't expecting them to beat Northern. Even with Turbo Pulsa, I thought it was going to be closer, and they just like took them out.
Yeah, I was pushing at the beginning of the season, like, can you guys please change your name to like the Motley Crew or something like that? Has the same sort of meaning, but it's a little bit more like intimidating. Like it sounds like I'm opening the fridge and like, what am I gonna have for dinner?
That's probably how they felt.
I'm too lazy to go and actually cook some food, so I guess I'll have some leftovers here. But yeah, please pick up this team. Please, they're such a great team. I would love for those guys to have a fantastic org. I am excited to see how these guys perform at LAN.
Yeah,
I think they're gonna do
Snasky.
well.
Snasky so snazzy. Snasky is one of those players that has had a history in RLCS as well. Sicky, obviously, you know the history there. Him making it to the World Championship 3 different times now with completely different teammates every single time. Snasky, he was on Supersonic Avengers, which narrowly missed out on the first season's live event by 5 points with how the qualifier system worked back then. So to see him finally make it with a newbie and Farah, kind of like out of, and I don't mean newbie in terms of playing, but he had no RLCS experience. He was completely a brand new pick. So the Leftovers, they deserve to be here. Their name is not the greatest. I agree with you, Wave, but maybe they'll get picked up by a sponsor. But regardless, they have proven time and time again that if it goes to a Game 5 or Game 7 or whatever,
they're still cool.
They're gonna win.
They're probably gonna win, and they both have one player that's been there before. Turtle. you have Siki. So I think both of them are going to look to that one player, the kind of captain-esque potentially, just be like, how do I do this? How do I deal with people screaming? And although we don't really get any booing, so don't have to worry about booing.
I'll start booing if we need to.
Just for the fun of it, just to help
This is
with the
why you
environment.
lose things, James. Boo. This is why you lose things.
He's not going to go boo. He's going to walk up and say, boo.
Yeah, just scare him.
Like James, this isn't how booing works. So the final matchup of day number 1, James called Flipside to be the back-to-back Rocket League Championship Series champions here. I will be amazed if they're able to pull it off, but they have to start off against Selfless. Flipside versus Selfless, final matchup of the day. Guys, give me your thoughts.
So this one, Flipside has been prone to losing relatively early in tournaments. And Selfless is one of those teams that can surprise you with how good they play. Timmy, especially, if he's on fire working with Dapper and Miho, Selfless can do some pretty nutty things. But again, where they fall short is they play very ball chasey. They just chase things down. They try to play fast. They just try to beat you to it, get the touch, mess you up. Whereas Flipside, they like to play that calculated game. They like to use the passing plays, work with each other. And when we saw G2 play Selfless, when they played that passing game, they absolutely demolished Selfless.
But to counter it as well, I think teams that do calculate a bit too much sometimes struggle against fast-paced teams. The big thing of what Genesis would do to teams like G2 is they're so fast-paced, so kind of, as you say, ball chasey to a degree. They like to bump, they like to get in their face, that they never had time to calculate because they were always too busy trying to react instead.
And then Greasy, though. Greasy and Timmy, to me, this is the story of that third player. Who's going to be stepping up for their team when it matters most? Greasy, obviously, he's not the star, but if you were watching the regional championship, the EU championship, he played like one. He kept them in that series. He didn't have the best league stats, but when it really got time to put your foot to the pedal, your nose to the grindstone, he was there for Flipside.
I think without Greasy, they wouldn't be here. I think if it wasn't for Greasy in that final game against Resident, they wouldn't be here.
It wasn't for Greasy and all the lead-up games to that final game as well, just to get them to that final game, because Resident was on fire.
Resident was doing really well, and I don't know what was wrong with Cooksier and Marky, particularly Cooksier. We always talk about how good he is, and I still stand by him being one of the best players, if not the best player in the world. But what was up with him? The last few weeks, he was missing balls completely. He was out of position. He was getting really bad 50-50s.
He had that own goal that was almost heartbreaking. But he did get the overtime winner as well. But I think Flipside matches up really well against Selfless. I think they're going to be playing their game. They're going to be boot camping before this, and they're going to get back to the Flipside that we've seen in the past. And I really think that Flipside, the way that they play, it matches up well against Selfless, and they're going to take them out.
I'd like to hope so, but I really do think that Selfless, when they're on their game and they're playing their fast paceness, it's going to break down what Flipside likes to do, and I think they might have to rely on solo plays. They're going to have to do the things that we see them do. Cooks are doing crazy air dribbles, Markadudo doing his fakes, and Greasy just being there to make sure his team doesn't fall apart.
Yeah, just be back in net. Keep things out.
Don't let them fall apart. Just don't let them do it, Greasy. Be there for them, please.
So I want to look at the bracket here one more time, and let's look at the day 2 matchups, match 5 and 6 here. Because we're gonna have these 2 matchups here: the Denial Alpha Sydney, the Northern Gaming Jam Gaming happen, and then those will populate into our quarterfinals. Give me your thoughts of which of these teams is making it through, and then how will those matchups against Mach and NRG go?
So in my opinion, I think OCE, if there is going to be an upset, it's going to be Alpha Sydney over Denial. But I still think Denial is going to make it through to Mocket, and Northern Gaming will make it through to NRG. And honestly, NRG is going to have a handful. Like they're coming as the top seed, but I bet they would much rather play the Leftovers than play Northern Gaming, even with Turbo Pulsa.
I don't know about that, because I think the Leftovers have proven that they can catch anyone off guard, and that's kind of NRG's shtick. They love to kind of be that wild card team that no one likes to go against. No one thinks they can. No one knows how to approach them. And I think going against the Leftovers, they both kind of have that. I don't know how you're going to play. Are you about to destroy me and do really well, or are you going to kind of underperform? And I still stand by it. I think Alpha Sydney is going to upset. I think they're going to take out Denial. After watching it, I mean, when you just see what OCE can pull off, everyone loves to be like, oh, like OCE can't do this. Like North America and Europe are just going to destroy them. Did you watch this season? Like we had teams underperform all the time.
Denial got shut out. Like they didn't score a single goal in 3 games. So like we did see that.
Yeah.
We did see that happen.
Both regions had their fair share of just being weak constantly. And since OCE is so isolated, I think it's really unfair to just be like, well, they're not going to perform at all. They're not going to do well. Because mechanically, they're just as good. You saw some of the touches and shots those guys were making. It's things we would go nuts for over there in the booth. So I think they've got just as big a shot as anybody else.
And this is why I love that we have world championships like this, because we can sit here all day and build very decent, defendable arguments about why OCE is going to get stomped on or why they're going to show up and surprise everybody, and we'll never know until we actually see it happen in Los Angeles, and I'm so excited to see those matches. These guys are going to be playing for a huge prize pool here. I'm pretty sure it's $55,000 goes to first place.
Number one.
Yes, I'm right about that. That is so much money. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, this is, and again, Gibbs talks about it every time. This is only divided between 3 players. So it's going to be a huge check for these guys. And this is on top of what they already took home for making league play, where they placed in midseason mayhem, how they placed in the North American and European and Oceanic Championship. So this is on top of all of that.
Yeah.
So 55K up there at the top. Every single team trying to get a slice.
I mean, dude, even 4th place gets 11 grand. Yeah. That's a lot of money for coming in 4th. When you really think about it, because these players, they all want first, even just for the sake of knowing they're the best in the world.
Guaranteed 5K paycheck.
Yeah,
Feels good,
Yeah,
man.
you just for showing up, you're getting at least 5,000, and every time you win a series, that paycheck goes up, which has just got to feel really good for them. There is something for them to play in every single matchup, even if they're not expecting to make it the whole way. But guys, it's been cool to talk about these things. I cannot wait to see them. We're going to have some predictions next about how we think this is all going to go. It's going to be great. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hope you guys stay tuned. We'll be right back. When we come back, we'll be making predictions about the World Championship.
You were perfection, I was the mess. I lacked emotion, you did your best. I was behind you through every step. You lost your way and you fell instead.
Welcome back to RLCS Overtime, ladies and gentlemen. We just got done talking about the World Championship, giving you a preview of all of the first matches we've got. And now, just for fun, we're going to make some predictions on what's going to happen at this World Championship. I'm going to keep rigorous track of what these guys say so that I can hold them accountable afterwards and make fun of them when they're wrong. Because
What do we get when we win, though? Or when I win? What do I get when I win?
You're not winning.
I'm going to win.
How many times do I have to tell you?
If it's a prediction, then it's going to be based on facts and reality, not whatever you base your judgments on.
I base my judgments on if I think you should win, and you don't deserve to win.
in your opinion.
You'll win about Tree Fitty or something like
Okay,
that. I don't know.
I'm fine
We'll go with that. Question number 1, who will score the most goals at the World Championship?
It's going to be K-Dop. I'm pretty certain. K-Dop, he was the MVP for the European region, and he can, in my opinion, on Precision Z, big factor in their first round win against NRG. K-Dop now coming in on Mocket, which I think is the favorite to win it all, even though I picked Flipside to win it all. K-Dop's he's gonna light it up.
Wait, what? You picked Flipside.
I do, yeah, I did.
But you think Mocket's going to win?
I think they're the
score the most
favorite.
goals?
I think they're the favorite going into it.
Okay.
I think Mocket is the favorite, but I think Flipside is going to win it.
All right, I think it's going to be Garrett G for the reason of I think last LAN he played out of his mind. I think he performed the best under pressure, and I think this is going to be the year NRG finally makes it far. And obviously, who scores the most goals is going to be dependent on if you actually make it really far.
I think we should go on goals per game.
I just want to also point out, okay, goals per game could change this, but this is, I asked the question
Whichever one I'm closer on.
Because Northern Gaming denial on the OCE squads, I'm going to pick up this pen right back up, they all get to play technically one more game than everybody else does. So they have more potential to score more goals. You sure you don't want to change your answers there?
Yeah, goals per game.
Okay.
But
you
even
said
if it's not,
so you're making it so that you win. You're changing the question.
It's the fair thing.
No,
it's the fair
that's not what he asked.
Well,
no, you said K. You can change if you
at
want.
Sadie
no,
look.
it's
You
fine.
change it? I've already written it down.
Stick with my guns.
Going once, going twice.
Sticking with it.
Sold. James Bott sticks with his answer of K. We'll find out. I bet they're both wrong. Now, question number 2. How far does Northern Gaming make it with Turbo Pulsa?
I think they have the ability to make it relatively far, but my prediction is the 5th, 6th spot. I think they're going to finish around 5th, 6th spot. I don't know how Turbo Pulsa is going to perform because Maestro was such a big part of the offense and of really everything for Northern Gaming. So they finished 3rd in the 1st and 2nd World Championship. I think they're going to fall back a little bit to the 5th and 6th spot.
I'm with you. I think there's too many good teams to say they're going to breach that top 4. I think there's too many teams I think they're going to fill those top 4 more confidently than a team that's now using a substitute they didn't use all season until the 3rd place game, which they lost. So I don't think I don't think NRG is going to make. Or sorry, NRG. I don't think
NG.
Are they going to do it to the lower bracket? Do they beat NRG, or does NRG move on there? This is all assuming they beat OC.
Flipside knocked out NRG both times, so I don't know. I don't know.
But we're not talking about NRG.
I'm saying because Northern Gaming, assuming they win their match against Jam Gaming, then have to face off against NRG next. So who would win?
I'm so
that
lost
one?
right now.
Yeah, I'm losing it.
I
need pictures to help me.
Someone throw me a life
quick,
raft.
draw me a picture so I can see it. I'm an image kind of guy.
Okay, you both said 5th or 6th. We'll stick with that for now. That makes sense regardless of how they get there. Question number 3, which NA team makes it the farthest? Last season, it was Take 3 against all odds. No one expected them to be the best team that showed up at LAN for North America. So, who is it from NRG this time?
I'm just going to go with the, I'm going to go with the curveball here, and I'm going to say Selfless.
Okay.
I thought you were going to say Denial. I was
no,
like,
no, I'm not.
Hold your horses.
Yeah, Canada's pretty good, but they're not as good as everyone else, I think.
Ooh.
I'm going to get some heat for that.
Oh, that was a gnarly one.
I'm going to get some heat for that
Leaf's going to be in chat just raging.
So you really think that Selfless is going to
I
make
do.
it farther than Rogue or NRG?
I do, because in the first World Championship, iBuyPower stunned everybody, winning it all. The second one, Take 3, finished the best out of any North American team. When you make it to the World Championship, things just happen that you don't expect. And I didn't originally expect Selfless to do amazing, but seeing how good Dapper is personally, I think him, Miho, and Timmy, they could do what Take 3 and G2 did, or iBuyPower did in the past seasons, and I'm going to go with them. Why not?
I'm torn between NRG and Rogue. I think I want to stick with my Rogue gun since I've kind of been backing them all season. They've been kind of like my go-to team all season. I do think this is going to be NRG's time to finally break out.
We said that last time.
I did. I did.
I'm saying it this time too.
But I think Rogue's going to be the one that makes it further. I think in general, just they're kind of their team play style and how fun they can be. I know everybody has mixed emotions on Sizz. Mostly in chat, everyone likes
Sizz.
Everyone just loves Sizz.
I love Sizz.
Yeah.
I hate Sizz.
But I think just in general, just how positive they can be, especially in such a stressful environment, is going to help bring them. That's what happened at Take 3. I think they just had fun, and I think that's a big part of what got them so far. I think the same thing's going to happen with Rogue, but I think they have a little bit more skill on top of that as well.
All right, Selfless and Rogue. I'm predicting NRG to go all the way to win this thing. So obviously, I think they're going to go the farthest. Next question here. I'm going to come to you first on this one, Carpet. Grand Finals matchup. Which 2 teams is it?
Alpha Sydney and Jam? Yeah. That was me.
Oh man, imagine if it came down to 2 OCE
That
teams.
would be incredible.
Crazy. That would be amazing.
I wouldn't even be upset.
Long road.
The fact that no matter what an OCE team gets to make it to the finals would be nuts. I want to say, I know Gibbs talked about Market, you talking about Market. I know they were the favorite going into the season, but I really was never that impressed. I think they did really well, but I was never like, oh, this is the team to do it. I think finally towards the end I saw it, but is it enough to prove to me? Probably not, because I like to take the whole story, the whole season, how you performed at the end. I mean, you look at Flipside, if we're just going to take their last 2 weeks, they probably are just done. But I don't think that's true. I think Flipside's too good under pressure, and since I already said I think Rogue's going to go far, Flipside Rogue.
Man,
Interesting.
I like it.
I'm going to go with Mocket and Flipside. I think that's same thing as last season. I know. I'm not really being that creative with my predictions, but I think Mocket is a really, really good team. And again, Flipside, they just refuse to lose.
Yeah.
Like they refuse to lose when it matters.
Predicting Flipside to win the whole thing is crazy enough. To like back to predict that they're playing the exact same team.
I
two
really
seasons
do.
in a row. That's crazy, man.
It's going to be an intense series.
That's pretty crazy.
And I know it's going to be them. I'll go back and watch this VOD. I'm going to tweet it out and be like, man, I was so right about all my predictions. Feels good.
Well, we'll
I'm going to tweet that clip of you being so wrong. I'm so excited.
He won't need to clip it because we're going to go back on overtime and look at it all. It's going to be great. Next one. This is going to be a fast one. Total number of games won by the OCE region in the whole World Championship.
Yeah, I don't want to be I'm not disrespecting OCE when I'm saying that I don't think they're going to make it to the finals. I just think numerically, with being the minority region by a significant margin, they have the odds stacked against them. I think they still are going to be able to get some games. I think they'll at least pick up 2 games, and Alpha Sydney might be doing that against.
Which means both teams?
Rough.
Both teams only win 2?
Two individual games.
2 individual games. I know it sounds brutal.
James.
I know it sounds brutal, but last season, Genesis didn't win a single game in the whole tournament.
Yeah.
Okay? So, like, it's not unthinkable that a team will show up and not win a single game. So I think winning 2 games for OCE would still be great. To take any games off of teams of this caliber from regions who get to practice way more against better competition because they're out in that OCE region, only 40 million players. They have a lot less people to play against even in matchmaking.
Yeah.
So they're not able to get as great of practice in. So I think 2 games would still be a good amount of wins to get for their first appearance on the world stage.
Now, since I think there's going to be an upset, there has to be at least more than 2 because we're starting off with best of 5, so it's at least 3. I'm thinking that if we see an upset in the first round, I don't think they're going to make it much past that. They need to drop to lower bracket, then maybe win a few games there. I'm thinking more like 6 to 8 games. I think they'd actually take. If I had to give you a definitive number, let's go smack in the middle. Let's do 7 games total.
7's easy.
Only because I think it's going to be really tough to make it past that second round because that's when we already have the best teams in the world. But once you've made it past round 1, now you're at the teams that they either were top seed. Well, they were top seed, right? So once you make it around 2, it's going to be real tough.
Okay, so this question got asked on the 50-50, but Carpet wasn't answering questions at that point, so I'm going to ask it one more time just to round out the segment, guys. Who is our RLCS Season 3 champion?
It's Flipside.
I figured you were going to say that.
Flipside Tactics. They're going to do it again. Cookser is going to be the MVP.
Okay. Carpet. Who's winning?
Mostly because, at least if James is wrong, we'll both be wrong. I'll go with Flipside too. I think. No, I don't know. Actually, if I at the heart, I think Flipside they really just don't lose. I mean, you said they don't like to lose, and it's so hard to say this is their time to lose because we've seen them come so close so many times. At my heart, I really want to pick either Rogue or NRG because I think now in North America, this is their time. This is their season. At my heart, I'm going to pick one of those 2, but I think statistically, Flipside again.
Flipside Tactics. You heard it here, guys. The panel picking Flipside all the way. I've got my heart set on NRG. I'd be excited to see it, but we will find out the next time we will see you guys will be on June 2nd in LA for the World Championship. It's going to be so exciting. I cannot wait to see how Season 3 concludes. Let's all get there. I don't know what this is, but it's great. It's been a great episode of Overtime. We'll see you guys later.
Your skin for so long. Oh, I am in your head, so tell me, is it wrong?